They say silence is golden, but in my house, silence was my survival strategy. My name is Sarah, and for 5 years, I was the invisible woman in my own family. My mother-in-law, Evelyn, lived by one rule: status was everything. To her, a person's worth was measured by the designer label on their suit or the title on their business card. From the moment I married her son, Mark, she treated me like a charity case. Because I worked from a small home office in my leggings and oversized sweaters, she assumed I was just a struggling freelancer, someone who couldn't possibly contribute to the family's elite reputation. She spent every Sunday brunch reminding me how lucky I was that Mark had saved me from a life of obscurity. Last month, the pressure reached a breaking point. Evelyn decided to host the city's most prestigious charity fundraiser at her estate. This wasn't just any party, it was the event of the season. She spent weeks bragging about the important people who would be attending. When I offered to help with the planning, she gave me a look of pure pity. She handed me a list of helper tasks: arranging flowers, checking codes, and making sure the catering staff didn't overcook the hors d'oeuvres. She even introduced me to her socialite friends as the sweet little girl who looks after the house while Mark does the real work. I stayed quiet. I didn't argue. I even smiled as I watched her roll her eyes when I arrived at the gala in a simple, elegant work dress instead of the $5,000 gown she suggested. The evening was a whirlwind of expensive champagne and forced laughter. The event was raising money for a major children's foundation, and the highlight of the night was supposed to be a speech by the foundation's anonymous founder. Evelyn was practically vibrating with excitement. She stood near the stage, ready to be the first to applaud for whichever local billionaire she assumed was behind the check. The master of ceremonies stepped up to the microphone. The room went silent. "Tonight," he began, "we are honored to finally introduce the woman whose vision and personal donations have kept this foundation running for 3 years." When he called my name, the silence in the room changed. It wasn't just quiet, it was stunned. I walked onto the stage. I could see Evelyn from the corner of my eye. Her mouth was slightly open, and her face turned a shade of pale I will never forget. I wasn't a struggling freelancer. For the last 5 years, I had been the CEO of a global tech consulting firm. I worked from home because I valued my peace, not because I lacked a real office. I gave my speech focusing on the children we were helping, never once looking at Evelyn. But as I walked off the stage, the most powerful people in the room, people Evelyn had spent years trying to impress, were lining up to shake my hand. After the gala, Evelyn tried to corner me in the hallway. She started to stammer an apology, mentioning how she didn't realize and how proud she was. I didn't let her finish. I reached into a nearby vase, pulled out one of the flowers I had spent the morning arranging, and handed it to her. "I'm happy the event was a success, Evelyn. Just remember, the most important work often happens where you aren't looking. You don't need a corner office to own the building." I didn't ruin her reputation that night, and I didn't leave my husband, but the power dynamic in our family shifted forever. I am no longer